Hello artists, Mrs. Larrabee here. Welcome back to the art room. This week I'm going to be going through some instructions for a lesson we've been calling in the art room, The Bunny in the Burrow. We talked about how rabbits don't necessarily hibernate, but when it gets colder and it gets closer towards winter time, they do have a harder time finding food and they do sleep a lot during their day. So they need to find a safe place to sleep. Bunnies will often sleep under the edges of trees or find in the middle of some brush somewhere that they can sleep, even close to your house maybe, trying to get a nice safe place for them to be during the day. But one important thing is that outside their burrow, they're going to have their food source. They're going to be resting near where they can find food. And in the winter, it's going to get more and more scarce as the plants begin to die back for the winter season. So we're going to be creating a bunny in the burrow habitat for our art project. Let's start with our bunny. So you're going to start with a black sheet of paper. This is just a regular size 9 by 11-ish, just a regular size of paper. I'm going to be using a white pencil just so that we can draw a little better. First thing I want you to do is draw a huge oval on your paper. We want it to take up most of the paper. This is going to be our burrow. At the bottom, I want you to draw a large circle. This is going to be our rabbit's tail. Not all rabbits have round tails, but we're going to go with that for today. All right, you can ear draw with me if you want. We're going to start kind of towards the top of the tail. We're going to draw a big curved line, a small curved line, and a smaller curved line all the way up. Big curved line, small curved line, smaller curved line. This is going to be the rabbit's legs and body and the top of his head. All right, the rabbit's kind of laying on its side. We don't necessarily see its face from this direction. Let's give it some bunny ears here at the top. They're kind of curved into the burrow. We're going to be using white paint. If you would be interested, you could use white with a little bit of black, and you could mix gray if you would like. That could be kind of a fun way to add to this project. I'm just going to be using straight white paint. When I paint, I like to go in the same direction that I think the fur might go. So maybe on the tail it would be a little more rounded. So we're going to do 2 layers of paint. This first layer is just to get our bunny colored in or painted in. Let's see, I'm going to use my brush strokes this way because I think that's how the fur would lay. I'm just trying to cover up some of the black. I actually am making gray right on my paper, just with the white being a little opaque, a little see-through. All right, uh-oh. I bet you guys are being super careful. I accidentally splattered a little paint on there. That's okay. Mistakes are opportunities. All right, so there's the body and the head of my bunny. Let me give him an ear. This is all we really need to paint because once this dries, we're going to cut it out and add it onto our background. All right, so I've painted it in. That was my first layer. My second layer is to add a little texture. So I'm just patting my brush back and forth. Think about how a bunny might feel. They are generally going to be pretty soft. So how could we make this look like he has soft bunny fur? You could do some lines like this if you wanted. I kind of like this little, maybe kind of like stippling technique, just adding a little extra paint on top. So you can see the smoothness of the tail and then the fluffiness of his fur. I'm going to do the same to his face and up around his ears because I think they would all be a little more fluffy texture, especially in the winter. If he needs to stay warm, his fur might get extra thick. Just making little pat motions. Notice I'm being careful with my brush. I'm not jamming it down into my paper. I want to make sure that I take care of my brush and I don't mess all the bristles up. So I'm just tapping it. Just little taps. All right, it looks like this might need an extra layer of paint, but I'm going to stick with these smooth lines over here. All right, this is going to dry and we're going to come back and add some color pencil over the top. So you may feel like it's lacking some detail when you're done. That's okay. We just wanted to get it painted in. We wanted to get the color on there, and now we're ready to start our background. All right, so we have already done our rabbit painting. This one already has some colored pencil on top, so yours may not look like this yet. That's fine. We're still coming back for that. Yours probably isn't cut out yet either. Don't worry about that. Mine's over on the drying rack getting ready. We're going to focus on the background now. So grab your sheet of paper. You're going to be using a large sheet, a 12 by 18, but just so that it all fits on our picture here, I'm going to be using a little bit of a smaller sheet. So I want you guys to think, remember you drew an oval on your other paper. That oval is going to be sitting in the middle. So I want you to just carefully kind of draw an oval out. Oh, let me switch pencils here so it shows up. Let's draw an oval kind of towards the center of our paper. This is where our bunny's going to go, and this is just to help you know where you want to put all the food that it's going to be foraging for around the edges. Okay? All right, we're going to go straight to paint. So go ahead and grab your paint. If you'll notice, if you're in the classroom with me, we just have 4 colors out today. We have our warm colors, yellow, orange, and red, and we have green, which is considered a cool color. These are the colors of the vegetation or the plants that we're going to be finding, that our bunny will be finding this fall and winter time of year. Maybe not as much green, but we'll add a little bit in there. Yellow may not show up on our yellow paper quite as much, but you might find that it's a little different. It might show up a little bit. We want to be thinking about things that rabbits would be eating. Rabbits are going to be eating plants and twigs this time of year. So let's think about the shape of some different leaves. I'm going to grab a little orange paint on my brush. I'm going to think about adding some plants right around the burrow where my bunny's sleeping. Here's a pretty fun leaf shape. So I like to make a curve on top, a large curve and a smaller. This would be kind of an oak leaf shape, and then just add a little bit of a stem. I'm going to paint this in. We're going to come back with colored pencil and add details. So today when you're done, you might feel like this doesn't look quite like I was expecting. That's okay. We're going to be coming back and adding more details to it later. All right, let's try a maple leaf as well. Here's how you can start a maple leaf. Start with a triangle. And then I want you to add some little wavy lines to the edges. So on the top I added a wave, and on the side here I'm going to add a wave. And on this other side, so I kind of make a point there, make some wavy lines. And I just keep making this a little bit bigger until I feel like I've got a good shape for a leaf here. All right, and don't forget the stem again. Okay, let's try a different kind of plant this time. Maybe, it's not quite solid winter here just yet where we are. So maybe we have a branch like this. So a curved line. And then I'm going to add some ovals to the side. Oh, our rabbits have gotten very fortunate, and they have found some green leaves still growing somewhere. All right, and I think I'll add another one of those up here. The green color really stands out. I know I've said it before, but I'm going to say it one more time. We're going to be coming back after this is all dry and adding detail over the top with colored pencils. So don't worry about that step yet. Right now, have fun getting some of these leaf shapes and plant shapes onto your paper. You guys think, what are some other plants that rabbits would eat? What's another plant that you're thinking of that you've seen out maybe when you were out on a hike or out in your yard that you think a rabbit would enjoy? There's also maybe something a little bit more like a twig. So let's see if we had like a little twig like this, and maybe he could find some berries. So I'm going to put some little circles on the ends. Maybe I'll add one of those up here too. I bet you guys will have some ideas too. So we want to add, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 kind of larger things around the edges of our paper. So we're kind of filling it up with some of these shapes of plants that our rabbit might eat. Okay, we're going to have a little fun now. We're going to come back. We're going to add just some little dashes. This is going to create movement within our artwork. movement is just showing some energy. It's just adding a little life into our artwork. It almost, to me on this one, almost looks like the wind might be blowing. And the bunny's safe in its burrow, asleep right now. This also reminds me of the artist Alma Thomas. And I know some of us have done some projects together before with some of her artwork. So she uses these little small dashed strokes in her artwork. So we're just gonna have fun with this. Go ahead and just grab a color that you wanna start with. I think I'll start with red. I'm gonna be going around the center oval. In fact, I might just go right on top of this line to start. I'm just making these little dashed lines. I'm keeping mine in this oval shape. Grab a little orange this time. They don't have to be exact, but I'm continuing to go out to radiate out from my center. I think this time, let's see what happens if I put some yellow on here. You can see it a little. You can tell my water had a little red still in it. My brush did, so we're going to get a little red on there. You could even go right over the top of some of these colors. I think this looks really cool. You just have to wash your brush before you put it back in the paint. So I can't take my brush and go over the orange and stick it back in yellow because my brush has orange on it now. So I'm going to wash it, and then I'm going to stick it back in yellow and grab a little more yellow. So I'm kind of letting some of these spaces have two colors on them. It's just kind of fun, letting them mix a little. And I'm keeping these dashes kind of in this circular motion around the edge of our bunny's food. All right, that's going to be about it for today. You want to make sure that you feel like you have enough of your background done. If you're in the art room with me, this is going to be our last day of painting. So make sure that you have all your background part done. We're going to move this over with our bunny to the drying rack to dry. When you come back next time, I'm going to show you how to use colored pencils and how to choose which color to use. All right, I'll see you guys next time.